Hi guys, how's it going? So I do apologize in advance for this awful lighting right now because I'm in my bedroom and my curtain is kind of thin. It's a tapestry, so it's not like a curtain, it's just, a piece of cloth, and the light is just coming in and it's like half of my face is pale. You're just gonna have to deal with it. So today's video is gonna be about my paranormal experiences because I feel like when people share these experiences, it's kind of like I find it kind of awesome and kind of cool in a way. Um, I don't know. I just kind of talking about this stuff because it's interesting. So the first experience that I'm going to talk about, this is a long time ago. This is probably like 2 years ago. I was at my friend's house, and let's call my friend Joanne for this instance. Okay, I was at my friend Joanne's house, and I was in the living room on the sofa with her boyfriend. We'll call her boyfriend Mark. So Joanne and Mark, and we were sat on the sofa together watching a movie. Now, bearing in mind, my friend Joanne has two little boys, and both of her children were asleep. And it was at night time, like around night time, about 9 o'clock, I'm going to say. So both the children are asleep. And ironically enough, we're watching a horror movie. Because we wanted to sort of like, me and Mark wanted to persuade Joanne to watch a horror film for the first time, because she'd never watched a horror film. So I was like, well, we're gonna make you watch a horror movie for like, as a joke, a bit of a laugh. So we're like, getting into the film, just chilling, and we hear upstairs some footsteps on the landing. And we just presume that it's her little boy who's he's a 3-year-old and he's a toddler. So we thought, oh, maybe he's got out of bed and he's running around. And so Mark goes up to check on him, okay? Goes in his room and he's fast asleep in his bed, like completely asleep. And we're just like, that's a little bit weird. So, we just thought maybe he was, playing around, like sort of, faking to be asleep, trying to be clever. So that's what we presumed firstly. Then the second thing that happened, so we're all sat downstairs and then we hear knocking on the walls upstairs, and we also hear her little boy's bedroom door open, like, because it creaks, so we heard it open. So again, we go and check, and the bedroom door is shut. It's shut, it's not open, it's been closed properly because Mark closed it like with the handle to the latch. He's, the little boy's still in bed. Obviously, like, we were like, there's a ghost in this house. It was quite a freaky experience. That was kind of a minor experience compared to some other experiences that I've had. But I thought I'd start that one off because that was probably the one that happened the longest time ago. Now, the next experience happened in this house. So back in December, I worked in a call center, and I came back from work. It was about, because I finished at 7:30 at night, like, so it was I came home quite late. I came home at like 9 o'clock, right about 9 o'clock. And as soon as I get in, I go and switch on the oven to gas mark 7 to put in a pizza or something like that, something easy to make. Then I go upstairs because I want to get out my work clothes, I get changed into some comfortable clothes, and I come back downstairs, and the oven setting has changed from gas mark 7 to gas mark 2. Now, bearing in mind, my mum is in the living room, and I asked my mum, did you change the oven setting? She said, no, I've been sat here the whole time since you got in. So I was thinking, okay, that's a little bit strange. Like, I was kind of like, okay. Kind of worried me a little bit. I was kind of like a little bit freaked out. So yeah, fast forward, after I've eaten my tea, I go and turn on the shower to get in the shower. So I turn on the shower, pull the curtain across so the water can't get over the side of the bathtub. Go to get undressed. I come back, and in the bathroom, the curtain has been pulled back, and the shower head is now not going down. Like, the water's not going into the tub; it's going over the side of the tub and onto the bathroom floor. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Like, that completely like made me think there's something messing with me here. Like, there's definitely a spirit trying to make me like trying to fuck with me basically. And then I get in the shower, and this is where it gets really kind of scary. I was washing my hair, and it felt like someone was yanking it like backwards, and I was like, oh my god, like, there is a spirit fucking with me right now. So I get out the shower, I get dressed, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my sage, and I'm gonna get rid of this thing, whatever it is. I'm gonna get it out of this house, because I was like, I'm not having some nasty spirit trying to mess with me. And I was like, this isn't happening. And then after I smudged the house, I put sigils I have like these pieces of paper with runes on, like symbols, with herbs inside that are protective, and I put them above every door in the house and every window, so nothing can like get through. And I was like, yeah, not having that experience. Like, I'm not having anything in this house, basically. So that happened. That was quite a weird experience. It was quite the most recent one actually. It was probably the scariest one because I was kind of like, something's messing with me here and I don't like it. The next experience, which was probably like last year, I think. Again, my friend, who I'm going to call Joanne, the same person that I brought up in the first story, I was at her house, and okay, we've had a few like conversations where we think her house is haunted, because one of her friends, let's call her friend Rachel. Her friend Rachel has a little girl, and Rachel comes round to the house sometimes with her daughter, and her daughter's about 4 years old, 5 years old, I can't remember how old she is, but she said, my friend Joanne told me that when Rachel's daughter was about 2 or 3, and she came to the house, she would be waving at like something and going, "Hi Bobby, hi Bobby," and we thought, okay, maybe that's just like normal 2-year-old behavior, but no, this is where it gets funny and weird. She still does that. She's still like, she's now about 4 or 5. She still waves at things like we can't see, and we're like, that's a little bit weird. So here, bearing in mind, okay, I was in the house with her, my friend Joanne. Okay, just me and her in the house. There was no one else there, apart from the children and the pets. I was sat. So imagine a sofa. It's like just a one sofa with like three cushions, and it's just like lengthways. I'm sat on the right watching TV with my arm on the armrest, and she's on the opposite. My friend's on the opposite side with her arm on that armrest. So my arm, this arm, is on the armrest, okay, and it literally felt like someone put their hand on my shoulder, and there was no one there, and I just felt this shiver go down me, and I was like, that was weird, like really weird. More about that house as well. Like every time that I'm there, especially if I'm on my own, because sometimes I go around, because my friend works a lot. I go around to, like clean the house, look after the kids or the pets or whatever. I feel like there's someone watching me, or I feel like there's someone like, just in the house, and it's like a little bit, a bit creepy. When there isn't anyone there, just me, So yeah, it's a bit of a strange place that I've been to where I've had a couple of weird experiences in the house. I'm trying to think of any more that I've had. Okay, I'm gonna. This isn't really an experience. It's more kind of like Okay, no, it is an experience, but it's kind of complicated. I'm gonna try and like shorten this down. So in 2000, I can't remember the year, but about 3-4 years ago, I was in college. I did a musical theatre course, and I think it was in our first year. In our first year, we went on a trip in June to Edinburgh in Scotland, okay? This was a 2 nights trip. And on one of these days, we were booked in for a ghost tour. Because under Edinburgh, there are these old vaults and these old like rooms and stuff that were part of like the mining industry back in like, whenever mining was. I'm not really good on my history, but excuse me. We were in these vaults and we were on this ghost tour, and it started off kind of like, is this legit? This is kind of a bit like touristy. And we were told, okay, by the tour guide, that a coven of witches practices underneath, like in these vaults, because there was a room with like altars and, like robes and like witchy stuff. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I like this. This is cool. And I was talking about Wicca as well, like with some people. I was like, oh, I practice that, and they're like, what? Like some people, this is probably the first time in college where people knew I practiced it, and they were kind of like, what the fuck? But some people already knew, like some of my friends already knew. I was talking about it with them, but it starts to get a little bit weirder. So we were looking at different rooms, went in different rooms that were apparently haunted, and the final, like they said, the final room was the most haunted. The first thing I'm gonna talk about is the room before the last room. Now, there was this room, it was really, really dark, and apparently in this room, people have seen a girl with long dark hair, and she screams a really horrible sound, and it makes your ears hurt. And I'm getting chills now talking about it. I hated this experience, but anyway. a few people went in that room, and I literally, my instincts were telling me, do not go in that room. Like, I was literally like, I refused to go in there. And my college tutor was like, come on, it's only for fun. And I was like, no, seriously, I don't want to go in that room. I'm staying out here, like, outside of it. I mean, my friend was the same. My friend didn't want to go in, and I was like, yeah, let's just stay here. Like, I'm not walking in that room because I have a bad feeling. So yeah, this is where it gets a little bit weird. Everyone that went in that room, they started feeling like really strange like this. Some of them started getting really hot. Some of them started getting really cold. Some people started like having like panic attacks as well. And I was kind of like, whoa, okay, this is fucking scary. Like, what the fuck just happened? And then the next room was probably like the most strangest experience. Okay, so the tour guide told us that this room was a room that only had one key to get into it, like a lock, and it was only open for the tourists, obviously. And in this room, there is a circle made out of stones, like massive rocks, like about this big, I would say, like, you know. And we were told, this is the first room that the witches practiced in because of the circle. I was like, that makes sense. And so the first couple of nights that they practiced there, they said it was fine. They said it was, you know, it was completely nice, and it was nothing bad about it. And then this one night, the high priest, he locks the door to leave, and he's left his altar all set up and stuff, and he's left his things in there, and he locks the door and goes. Comes back the next day, and bearing in mind, he's the only person that can get in that room because he's the only person with the key. Now, he comes back the next day, and his altar has been like, everything's been thrown on the floor. Things are in like random places. A bit strange, really. Like, that's kind of like a bit. I'm even getting shivers. I hated this experience. So we went in that room, and the tour guide told us that the witches said no one should step inside the circle unless they want to face dire consequences. So people being skeptic, obviously stepped inside the circle. I didn't, because what I did is I put my receptive hand out towards its edge, and I felt this like energy that kind of like pushed my hand a little bit, like, and it felt really weird. And I was like, yeah, I don't like the feel of that. I'm not going inside that circle. And I think this was like the first night we were in Edinburgh. So like basically the day after that, the people that had stepped in the circle, actually no, rewind a little bit. After people stepped in the circle, some people started crying. Some people couldn't breathe. Some people had panic attacks again. Someone had a migraine. All this weird stuff started going on, and I was kind of like, okay, this is fucking weird shit. And I just sensed this bad presence. And basically, the day after that, some of the people that stepped inside the circle received some really bad news. Someone lost their uncle. Someone's relative had been in some accidents and whatnot, and all this bad news was coming out, and I was kind of like, oh my fucking god, like, I'm so glad that I didn't step inside that circle, because I didn't want anything to happen to anyone that I loved. And I was like, whoa. And after that experience, I kind of felt a little bit kind of like the aftershock of it, like kind of just that aftermath of it, kind of feeling a little bit kind of weighed down, and kind of, you know, like heavy and scared and kind of like cold in a way, and I just wanted to like not feel that way, and I just had this bad feeling about that place. But yeah, those are my paranormal experiences that I thought I'd share because they're interesting to talk about. That's all I really have, actually, because I've not really had a lot of paranormal experiences, just a few. Actually, no, there's another one I've just remembered. Oh my god, okay. So in 2013, my grandma passed away. And this is going to sound kind of a bit awful for YouTube, but we found out through my uncle, because he went to visit her in the house, because he hadn't heard from her in like a couple of days, and he was worried. And my uncle's her son, so he went to check on her, and he found her. He found her in bed, and she died in her sleep. And we got the call straight away, and my mum was like in tears and just really upset because it's her mum as well. And I was in tears, and everyone was upset, and, you know, yada yada yada. Fast forward to now, which was very recently, actually, and recently I decided I'm gonna watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer again, because I was trying to find a show to watch, and I was like, maybe I should just watch one I've already seen that I love. So I decided to watch Buffy. Now, spoiler alert, if you've never seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or you want to watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I would mute this video now, because this is a spoiler, and I don't want to spoil it for you wanting to watch it. But anyway, there's an episode where Buffy comes home, and she finds her mum dead on the couch. Like, her eyes are open, she's still, and she's like, you know, just laying there, and Buffy's like panicking. And when I was watching that scene, I was thinking, like, holy shit, like, I wonder how my uncle felt, like, when he found his mum like that. And in that instant, because my mum was upstairs, she was having a bath, my mum came downstairs, and the sink in the kitchen, the hot water tap came on by itself in full force, because our tap comes out quite strong, so it came on like a jet of water. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Now, bearing in mind, previous to this, the taps have done that before. We've had the taps checked. They are completely fine. There's nothing wrong with the taps or our pipes. And funny story is, every time my grandma used to visit this house, she'd either bring food with her to have, or she'd eat like with us, like we'd make food for her. And whenever she came round to eat, she would always wash up afterwards. And that kind of says to me, like, you know, she used to do that all the time when she was here. So maybe that's her way of saying she's here. Like, she's, you know, doing stuff with the kitchen taps and the kitchen sink. So I definitely believe it's my grandma, my mum's mum, because the fact I thought about that when I was watching Buffy, and then the taps did that, and that links to her. I think my grandma is, you know, she's a visitor of this house. Like, it doesn't surprise me. Also, like, there are, like, if you've ever if a loved one has ever passed away, or a pet, and you know they're gone, and in your house or whatever, you smell their scent. Like, you smell, like, my grandma used to wear this perfume that was very, like, distinct, and you just knew it was her, like, her perfume. I could smell that, like, as well. Sometimes I can smell that, like, I know she's visiting the house. So there's that experience. That's literally all I've got for you. And I'm sorry that I forgot that happened, because I was going to talk about that, but it completely left my mind. But anyway, guys, those are my paranormal experiences. Let me know yours, maybe, you know, get a conversation going. I know it's a bit of a creepy subject, but I feel like it's cool to talk about. A lot of people like talking about them. I find them interesting. Sometimes scary, obviously, it depends on, you know, what happens. But those are my experiences. Thank you, and I've got a cold. I'm sorry, I keep sniffling. Those are my experiences. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have an amazing day, guys. Bye.